Hey y'all. I'm giving y'all a chance to get connected. And while you do, I have some theme music going on. I do not own the rights to Big Frida because Big Frida is in a class all of her own, but it's getting me amped on this Friday night. So, wow. Facebook is looking for folks to join this. Let me go ahead and drop a couple of links that you're going to want to use. And as you come on, especially if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and let us know who you are, where you're from, and how you found this live video tonight. So you go ahead and do that while I grab my blanket. And if you're wondering about my wonderful look tonight, I am being all the way black girl tonight, which means that underneath this this beautiful purple hat, which is my favorite color, I am deep conditioning because that's what we do. We multitask and we rock the moistures and the juices and berries inside of our in our hair, so to make it nice and supple and moist. So that's what I'm doing right there. But I had to be a little bit cute. Here's a little confession. I realized that I was wearing the same shirt that I wore on Tuesday night when I did my last live. So I was like, let me go ahead and put on a sweatshirt or something so y'all don't think that I only own one shirt. I promise it's clean though. So let me see who's going to be my first one here. And while that's happening, you always need some more Big Frida. So I'm going to give folks about another 30 seconds to go ahead and get started, to go ahead and join. And then I'm just going to go ahead and talk to myself because that's okay. I see I have my first viewer. Hi, viewer. Go ahead and let us know who you are. We're just giving people a chance to get connected because I know the way the Facebook algorithms work is that it takes a while to populate and show people that I'm indeed live. So let me go ahead and get us started. But I would love to know who's here. Who are you? Where are you from? And I'm going to give it another 10 seconds and we're just going to go ahead and get started. So if you're just joining me, you will know that I'm an eclectic person and I have some Big Frida going on in the background. It's Friday night. I have my deep conditioner going on. I just came back from the nail salon, so my nails are cute. I've been into this this dip recently, and I'm kind of liking it. It makes me feel all sophisticated and grown. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And while I do that, let me go ahead and turn off Big Frida. But tell the truth, can you ever have too much Big Frida in your life? Never, never. And what is more appropriate on a Friday night than her? All right. So first of all, thank you guys so much for joining, especially if you're here on the replay and you're taking the time out of your day to watch this replay. And I especially appreciate you if you are joining me live here. My name is Aaliyah Mims of AaliyahMims.com, and I am here to serve my purpose in this world. And my purpose in this world is to unapologetically be. To unapologetically be, to love, to write, and to incarnate the divine feminine. And so what that means for you is that as I'm on this journey for myself to really be an integrated whole person, whole woman on the planet at this time, and to love and to write and to bring the divine feminine into practice, that I'm really here also to help share that journey and share what I learned with you all so that you can also fulfill your own mission and your journey and your calling in life. So that's a little bit about what I'm here to do and what I'm hoping to create in this world. I do that in a variety of ways. I do that through leadership coaching. I do that through life coaching. I do that through strategy. I do that during my 9 to 5. And I do that through my writing and building community with other women, especially Black women. So welcome to my sister sanctuary. I'm trying out a few different names for the space that we're creating. And really what I hope for this space to be is a time for us to come and just really fellowship together. This is not a webinar. This is not a lesson or instruction. I will be sharing my truths and my lessons and wisdom. However, this is a dialogue between souls and a dialogue between spirits. And my hope is that by dialoguing together that we are going to further our own journeys and just become better people for it. Some things to know about me and some housekeeping is that this is indeed interactive. So if you have questions or thoughts, even if you're on the replay and you have questions or thoughts, go ahead and comment and I will be happy to respond to them there. If you're watching this live, definitely share what you're thinking or what questions you have and I will come to them. And the other part is if you find this helpful in any kind of way, or if you know someone else that will benefit from it, I definitely invite you to share it with your community, share it with the people that you come in contact with, and to invite people to like this as well. So that's a little bit of housekeeping. Some things to know about me is that I'm extremely eclectic. So that ranges everywhere from how I was raised in the hood and went to Ivy League schools. It means how I'm super polished and know all the SAT big words during the day, but I love my New Orleans bounce music. It means that I wear my Michelle Obama dresses at work, but underneath this, I have on like clearly a whole shower cap with some deep conditioning. And yes, I did go out like that. Yes, I did go to the car dealership today and get my car serviced and went to the nail shop and did all that because that's just me. I'm the intersection of all those things. And so I invite women who are also the intersection, who don't fit into a box, who see the world both through their lens and also beyond their lens to share space and time with me. Tonight, I just wanted to hop on for a couple of reasons. One, I'm really working on building my consistency with creating space for you all, because this is so much a part of my purpose is to show up in love and apologetically being. And so part of that means that I need to show up for other women who are also on that journey. And so tonight is one of those times where I want to make sure that I'm being consistent in showing up for us, because there are often times where we feel that we are alone, where we feel like we're the only one facing certain issues. We feel like we're the only one that are thinking the things that we're doing, that we're thinking, and experiencing what we're experiencing. So it's important for me to hold space for all of the women like that. And I've always been a space holder, even before I knew the metaphysical, neo-paganistic, woo-woo word for it. But it's always been really important for me to be a voice and to use my voice, even when afraid, to stand up for women who also need that encouragement and that nudge and that mirror and that permission to stand up for themselves. So that's part of why I'm here. The other reason why I'm here tonight is because we are a few days away from the new year. And if you're Black like me, you call it New Year's. We didn't have to be all cute and be all whatever. We know we call it New Year's. I call it New Year's. And we're a couple of days away from it. And now is a time where you're seeing like all of these memes about what are your resolutions for the year going to be? What are you doing differently in 2018? What are you leaving behind in 2017? And I wanted to talk about that a little bit tonight. My last live that I did a couple of days ago, or a few days ago, was really focused on around the space that I'm trying to create and what 2018 is going to be. And part of that is that I wanted to be sure and follow up on is to talk about, what is this magic or lack thereof that happens around January 1st? And what does it mean to step into 2018 really being intentional about how we plan to show up and intentional about the things that we want to have happen in our life. And so just a very, very snippet, quick recap about what I talked about in my last live video. Definitely go back and check. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and drop a link to that real quick. I feel like I'm a DJ right now on the ones and twos and navigating my own sound system because I'm streaming from my computer. So I can do that. So let me just go ahead real quick and drop a link from the last video that I did. Copy link address. So I'm going to put this as previous video, grown woman business. Yes, there we go. So just a really quick snippet about what I talked about in that last video was that we are in a place of evolution. And while things might seem scary and while it might seem like the world is going to hell in a handbasket, as the old folks might say, and while it might seem that all of this negativity is coming up, in reality, what this is giving light to and what this is giving space to is for the shift that's occurring. And the shift started beginning a few years ago, and we've seen this shift both on a global level with the different politics and in it seeming like we're going backwards. At the same time, there's all this evolution in society that's happening. So that's definitely a sign that there's a shift that's going on. And many of us saw it personally in our lives. We saw that 2016 and 2017, both were years that it really truly felt like all hell was breaking loose. We saw that with the election. We saw that with just it really seeming like everything was going backwards. And what I venture to say, and a lot of people who are in the healing space and practicing the healing arts are also showing up to say is that 2016 was really a year of breakdown, or the beginning of the breakdown, I would even say. And 2017 is where many of our old paradigms and ways of being were starting to not just break down, but to really cause us to think in new ways about how this world will continue to evolve. Hey, Selena, thank you for joining. Selena, we're really just talking about really around what 2018 is and why this is not necessarily new year, new you, but how do we need to be different and show up differently and be intentional about the year that's coming up. And I'm just giving a very quick recap to my last video, and basically how 2016 and 2017 really served the purpose to show us that we couldn't be comfortable in the old paradigms and the old ways of being, that everything that we were taking for granted and the progress that we were taking for granted really is a reflection of the amount of work that we're willing to do. And when we are comfortable and when we take things for granted, that it can easily go backwards. And at the same time, a lot of that breakdown needed to happen in order for us to make space for what new is coming on. And also that breakdown was there to signal that there's the opposite at play as well. So all of that, what that means is that as these breakdowns were going on both globally and for a lot of us personally, y'all, 2016 and 2017 were like hellish years for me. 2016 saw the ends of my relationship, and this is a relationship that I had been married and with this person for almost 10 years. We divorced and got back together. And this was supposed to be, in my mind, I should say, I thought this was going to be it. We were going to be ride or die. And guess what? We would die. We were not ride or die. I can laugh about that now, and it feels really good to be able to laugh about it now. 2017 saw me through a whole healing journey. Not the first time I've ever had to heal some things, but really I would say the time where I had to truly master the art of healing and master the process of healing. In a lot of ways that I didn't want to. I thought I knew, I thought that I was okay, and I did not want to do that work again. I felt like I had come so far, and it felt like the rug had literally been swept from underneath me, and I did not want to go through it. But 2017 taught me a lot about surrendering, and not only just surrendering to the process and feeling all of the feelings and just riding the wave, but really what it also was important for me to do on the other hand of that healing was that it required me to do a lot of defining who I am and telling the truth to myself about who I am. I had spent almost 39 years on this planet in reaction and in response to everything I thought I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be as a mother, as a daughter, as a Black woman. Hey, Leonie, as I felt like I had to make up for what Black women were in the media and in the workforce because there was so much negativity out there about us, and so I thought that I needed to be the strong one and be the martyr in a lot of ways. I thought that I had to make up for the people in my community who weren't afforded the same opportunities that I did, and so I spent so much time in reaction to all the things that I was supposed to be that when 2017 happened and I realized none of that mattered, I really had to go on a quest to define who I was. And part of who I was discovering new things about myself. That's going to be for the sanctuary that we have in our private group. And I'll talk about all the things I discovered about myself, but also really returning to the self that I knew and had glimpses of when I was a child. I remember when I went through an initiation process when I was 12 and we're in the forest and we're in the woods and we're talking about what do we believe about God. And I remember being afraid, but admitting that I thought God was a concept that lived within our hearts. And it was a way that we made sense of the world. Like I said that at 12. And when I look back, I'm like, I was pretty damn smart and dope at that time. And I remember being 14 and starting my first group for Black women, like at 14, and flying in the face of all of the white privilege of the school that I went to. And so there were all of these little glimpses along the way of who I was. And none of those things were the complete me, but they were giving me hints. And so 2017 was really starting to rebuild that foundation. And so what that means for me, and what I think it really means for the world, is in 2018 is where we're really going to start putting our thoughts and our belief and our vision into action. So we've been in this dismantling phase. We've been in this redefining phase. And now we're starting to become in this action phase. And for y'all that are just joining me, y'all missed my whole big Frida, that this is real, this is interactive. So any questions, thoughts, amen, high five, hearts that you want to share on the side, go for it. And Latasha, you joined at the perfect time because I was just giving a quick synopsis about what we talked about last time, but y'all missed my whole intro. I didn't really have an intro, y'all. I was just spending time because I knew it was going to take people a few minutes. So y'all missed me twerking for Big Frida. Y'all missed me having my whole hat on underneath me, putting in some deep conditioner. Y'all, I'm on vacation, so y'all getting it for real. And no, I'm not having any mimosas tonight, but because I'm bougie and hood all at the same time, I was at my favorite nail spa that's super uppity, but they serve rum and Coke, which is like one of my favorite drinks. I don't know what happened when I turned late 30s, but me and dark liquors go together. Like, don't tell Bay, but that's my other boo. Is rum and Coke and whiskey. Anyway, I diverged. So anyway, I wanted to say that this is just real. These are conversations. This is not a webinar. So please jump in, join in, say hi, share, like, all these kinds of things. Hey, Michelle, happy to see you. So now that we got that out of the way about what 2016 and 2017 and 2018 are about, I posted some links up thread too. So if you guys want to go back and refer to those, you can. Let's talk about what 2018 really is about and what that requires from you. So we talked about how 2016 and 2017 were about dismantling and about creating a new vision for yourself. And 2018 is all about action. What I've been called and what I've been realizing for myself is that it's really easy sometimes for us to stay in the comfort zone of vision. It's really easy for us to have these lofty ideas and to sit back and dream and imagine what our life can be, but it's a lot harder for us to take action. And it's hard for us to take action for a lot of different reasons. Either we don't take action because we think that we don't have enough skills or ability to take action. Sometimes we don't take action because we're just unsure about what that next step is. We see the big vision, but we're not sure what that intermediary, short-term 10 mile step is. We only see the 5,000 mile steps. And we don't take action because there's a doubt about, are we really seeing what we think we see, and who are we to do that big grandiose thing? And we don't want to be called crazy. We want to still be accepted, and we still want to be loved, and we still want to be appreciated for who we are currently. So all of those things prevent us from taking action. And I just finished reading The Alchemist again. And if you guys haven't read it, like that book, I swear should be up there with the Bible. Like I'm that serious. But there's a scene in it where the boy talks about, is his name Santiago? Yeah, Santiago talks about how he was with this crystal merchant. And the crystal merchant talks about he never fulfilled his vision because he was afraid about what would happen if once he fulfilled his vision, what would be left. That it felt better to dream than to dream, attain, and then have emptiness on the other side. And I think that all of those things are pieces of the reason why we don't take action. And I can definitely say that this has been true for me. Hey, Tina. Hey, Boo. Hey, Chantel. This is a continuation of my previous conversation. So I'm going to just drop the quick link from my last video so y'all can just catch up from where I am now. But I want to give you guys some truth about what I've been recently learning about taking action. So y'all ready for it? This is what I've learned, because when I tell y'all that I do this work and I'm never coming from a place of a pedestal and having it all figured out. I'm coming from a place of doing it scared, doing this work myself and sharing with you all what I'm learning, because I really see that we're sisters and we are a collective and we are a group and we're growing and we're doing this together, that there's never going to be one leader in front of all of us. There might be somebody who's a few steps ahead of us, but that person is not Jesus. That person is not your guru. That person is not the one who is who's perfect, because that person, when we put people on that pedestal, we feel hurt when we realize that they're just flawed human beings. So I'm coming out the gate and saying that I'm a flawed human being as well too. I will always tell the truth. I will always tell y'all when I fuck up, and I will always tell y'all that I'm going to be completely imperfect. But I know what I know, and I know what I know is what I know, because I have been part of what 2017, actually my whole life has been about, is about reconnecting to spirit in a really, truly authentic way, so that I can trust that voice that's in me, that I know the difference between when my ego was speaking and when God and Goddess and Orishas and Oshun and Oya and the angels and Mother Earth, and when all of those entities speak through me. So that's why I can feel really confident. And if you are Christian, you know there's a place in the Bible, I think it was in the Old Testament, when they're talking about that the judges and the people who are responsible for leading the people will be tried the harshest. And so I take that very seriously, that when I'm in front of people, that I am not just going to be speaking just out of my own ego and out of my own will, because I take that responsibility so seriously to lead. And I know that leadership comes with a great price, and it comes with a great responsibility. So what I've learned this year about taking action is, one, all of the reasons why we are afraid of taking action. And so Selena was saying that action is one of her words for 2018. That's actually one of mine. I can't remember the exact words because I got to be really cute and put it on posters and everything behind me. But definitely action is a part of what my calling is for 2018. And what I realized in responding to all of the reasons why we don't take action is that it's okay to not do it perfectly. Like, I don't know where in our being that we thought that we had to be Steve Jobs and we could not release the first thing until, it is perfect and glamorous. And with all the bells and whistles figured out and all of the polishedness figured out. Hey, Andea, girl, I've been carrying your gift around for like 3 months, no lie, but you love me. And I swear Kwanzaa was invented by Black people for Black people, because they knew we needed 7 days after Christmas to get our shit together. Like, for real, side note, real talk. Y'all, Andea is my ace boom coon since we were 10 years old, competing with each other back at our magnet school that we attended. But that's my heart, for real. And Andea, speaking of, I'm wearing my color purple shirt on underneath here. Anyway, I digress. And so what I figured out was that it's our perfectionism that stands in the way. And so we see our perfectionism and we think, well, I'm not there yet, so I can't do any of the work. Chantel, I got her gift. It's in my bag right now, and I'm going to go see Bae tomorrow, but it's on my to-do list. And I told Bae that, like, for real, please make sure I go to the post office, because I ain't shit about some things. I told y'all I am flawed. I'm flawed. But y'all know my heart. God knows my heart. But I'm trying to get better. But I'm also giving myself permission to be flawed and to be a human being. And sometimes I just can't get it right 100% of the time, 100% of the ways. And that's okay. And that's kind of what I'm talking about tonight, is that we may not get it right, but we shouldn't let that perfectionism stand in the way from us taking any action. And so that means that if I committed to coming on live twice a week, but I missed a week, or if I did it only once a week, that doesn't mean that I stop and I can't take any action. It means that when we are trying to create this perfect guide for our followers, and maybe we only have a PDF version, or we have a Word version, or we can do it vocally and we can record over our phone, that's okay. Because the thing is, while we do want to do it perfectly and while we do want to get it right, we can't let that stop us from taking any action. And so as you're thinking about those things that you're called to do in 2018, I really want to challenge you to think about, what is something I can start doing right now? What is some step that I can take? And even if you can see the big vision of where you will be in 10, 25, 35 years, or whatever those steps might be, what is the one thing that you can do to take a step on that journey? There's this saying, I'm not going to say a saying, but I borrowed this from T.D. Jakes, who I used to attend the Potter's House, and one of the things he talks about is how God is like a GPS. And the GPS, you put in your destination, you type it in and you say, I want to go, 3,000 miles away. And the GPS tells you the steps to get there. But the GPS never reveals to you all of the steps at one time, because we're not equipped to be able to handle it. A lot of times we'll feel overwhelmed, we'll feel doubtful, we'll feel insecure about taking all of those steps. And so we don't do anything. But the GPS is really intentional about only revealing to us the next step. And it stays quiet until we master that step, until we're ready to go to the next step. So what I invite you all to do this year is, whatever that nudging is in your voice, in your heart. And I really do believe that God speaks not only through external signs, but God speaks through that knowing that's in our spirit. It's in that knowing when we're super calm and when we're completely at rest and at peace, and when our body and our minds are relaxed, we get this aha that comes into our brain. And that aha is there not as a place of ego, but that's really God speaking to us. And I don't know if everybody gets these ahas or if it's just me. And I'm going to be really real, because we're grown folks and your kids better be asleep. But that aha comes to you. There's a reason why we get all of those brain ideas in the shower. There's a reason why we get all of these things right when we first wake up, before our brains are even conscious that we're 100% awake. We also get those, y'all, for real after sex. Like, there's a whole reason why orgasm is such a spiritual and existential experience, is because not only is it energies merging together, but it's also when we are the most high and our brains are turned on and we have let go of all the ego and all of everything, and we're able to really tap into that God energy. I don't know about y'all, but I really do believe that orgasms are magical. And so a lot of times we get a whole bunch of truth and downloads that come to us at that time, or maybe not right after the orgasm, but while we're in that buildup and in that moment where we are just like, y'all know what I'm talking about to come, and you feel like the whole world is just like, ah, and it just feels like nothing even matters, and you're just in this space. Like, that's a God space. Yes, Chantel, I'm telling y'all to have more sex. I'm telling you to have good sex. Like, I'm telling you also to have sex with people that you can let go and truly release with. And I'm telling you to have really good sex that's not that missionary, oh, let me try to be cute. I wonder what he's thinking. I wonder what she's thinking. Do this smell? Did that make that sound? I'm talking about that let go sex. Y'all got the kids asleep, right? I told y'all this is Sister Sanctuary. We keeping it all the way real. And this is just a small little sliver of what's going to happen in my group, because we talk about the real, and I believe that all of that is connected. So all of those, Chantel, you can tell your husband I said you need to be having more sex. And that good stuff too. Like, for real. Good. I'm glad, Selena, because baby girl, big baby girl and baby girl don't need to be hearing this. My niece is gonna be like, Mama, what's she talking about? Anyway, so I believe that God speaks to us through those times when we're absolutely clear. Yes. Hey, Chantel's husband. And God speaks to us when we're really clear, and in those nudgings is when we hear just what that next step is supposed to be. that next step is also important because it's how we practice and how we gain momentum for the next step that comes after that. So those are two big nuggets I want y'all to take away for tonight, is that 2018 is all about action, and action doesn't require you to get it perfect and to do all of the things, but it really requires you to do the next thing. And then once you do that next thing, to go ahead and do the next one. And that's how we take that journey of 1,000 miles, or the journey of 3,000 miles, is by taking one step at a time. So the next thing, just a little quick side note, because I've been doing all these side notes. I don't know if some of you guys are new to me doing lives, but one thing that's really important when I do lives is that I don't do anything scripted. I don't have a content calendar. I do not have a master plan. I don't have a launch plan about what I'm going to be talking about, because I know that when I do those things, for me in particular, I'm coming from a place of ego that's not always motivated by serving, but sometimes I'm thinking, ooh, what will I do that's going to make the next $100 or the next $1,000 or the next $10,000? And I can get really in my head about that. So what I've committed to doing is to pray and send to myself and let spirit speak through me. And so sometimes I'm like, for real, y'all? When I say y'all, I'm talking about my whole pantheon. I'm like, so I don't know what I'm supposed to be talking about today, but I'm going to say that I'm going live, and I'm just going to pray that y'all going to come up and show out for me and show through me, because it's going to be, that's what I trust. And another thing is, I don't take notes. Like, the only notes I have right here are my quick topics that I wrote down from the last live that people said that they wanted me to speak to, and I've been kind of marinating on it. Yes, so Chantel is giving us the notes. Take action. It doesn't require you to have everything perfectly. Just need you to know the first steps. 2, have more sex. And 3, have more sex. I'm just joking. Yes, sit at your altar. And actually, that is going to be my third step, because my cousin was in here the other night and said, well, how do you connect with God? And at first, I was thinking about all of these step 1, 2, and 3, and I wasn't feeling quite right in my spirit. So I'm going to tag her right quick so she knows I'm talking about her. Oh, here we go. Here's where I talk about how to connect to God. Hey, Jaquel. Hey, boo. Hey. So, yes, cuz be including you in the live, y'all. For real, I didn't tell y'all this. I forgot to tell y'all this time. I hope y'all got something to drink if you drink. And if you don't drink, I hope you have some water or something that you light in some incense. Lighting some incense. I already have my drink at the nail shop, because part of my hoodness, not only was I at the nail shop with my whole deep conditioner in, but I love my shop, and they have really good drinks there that are included in the price. So I have my whole rum and coke there, because why not? What else are you supposed to do? So the third part is really about how do you connect to spirit. And at first I had all of these thoughts about, I can share with you guys my practice about connecting to spirit. What, Chantel, I know I did about my deep condition? Yes, girl. These juices and berries got to marinate up in here to get my my fro flawless and moisturized. Yes, I told you I sit on the intersection of bougie and ghetto as fuck. Girl, not only did I have my deep conditioning while doing my nails, I've been rocking this all day, because I went and got my car serviced. I went and returned some gifts. I went about shopping. I did all of this with my beautiful, cute purple beret on, because I'm real. Y'all getting the whole reel. So stop distracting me. So how do you connect to spirit? I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to tell you the most important parts about how you know whether or not your practice is important for connecting to spirit. And I'm going to also share with you my practice. My practice is not the golden rule. My practice is not go and replicate what I did, because if you do this, then you're going to get salvation. That's not what it is. I do not claim to be Paul from the Bible, because low key, yes, I'm throwing shade at Paul in the Bible. I'm sorry if this is offending anyone, but my purpose is not really trying to, down Christianity or down Paul. But my idea is that sometimes we mistake the process that someone else is taking for the gospel. No pun intended. We take what somebody else went through as a script for what we're supposed to go through, and we mistake the whole purpose of it. And the whole purpose of all of our ritual and tradition is really about getting connected with God. And so what I don't want you to do is to take what I'm doing and write it down and say, this is the way to connect to God, because I don't believe that. And there's nothing in my spirit that says that. But what I do believe, and what the point of all of it, and it doesn't matter if you are Christian or Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or whatever you are, is that the whole point is for us to connect to God as our source. And when I say God, I speak of God and Goddess interchangeably. And God to me is the supreme, and that there is all these spirits and beings and entities within, that underneath God, that kind of is part of the pantheon of spirit. And so my belief is that we do all of this to connect to God. And not only do we connect to God just to have a place and a salvation and the sanctuary to go to literally lay down our burdens, but it's also a place for us to be inspired. And it's a place for us to be inspired to be our best selves and our truest selves and our most loving selves. And so I don't want to say duality, but it's a two-way street that goes on when we connect to God. And so I believe that ritual is really important to help us get there. Random fact about me is that I grew up going to a CME church, which is Christian Methodist Episcopal church, derived from the Anglican Church in England. And Anglican Church was the offshoot of the Catholic Church when the Catholic Church said that King Henry couldn't divorce his wives. So they're very intertwined, and there's a lot of similarity. Y'all do know I'm a history and religious geek and nerd, right? So that was so my church that I grew up in was very much about order and tradition and hierarchy and ritual. And I loved it. And also at the same time, I went to Catholic school when I was younger, and I went to mass, and I voluntarily went to mass. I loved the ritual of the Catholic Church, and there's a whole part of me that is tied to that, so much so that when I went away to college, even as an adult, there's a lot of Catholicism that I practiced because it spoke to my spirit so much in the whole ritual. And so I say, find the rituals that allow you to be in that space. And that space that I'm talking about is that space that zone. You know, you guys, I was talking about that zone that feels like right when you're at orgasm, or when you're about to orgasm, or right after you orgasm, and you feel like there is truly nothing else in the world that matters, that you are just in this place where you feel like you can hear God speaking to you, and you just feel that high. And you feel like not only that high where your ego is gone, and all of the little things about what the baby gonna eat and when that bill getting paid, and did she really mean that? Was that throwing shade? When all of that just melts away, and you feel like you can hear the voice of God in whatever way that God speaks to you. Find those places where you can replicate that ritual. For me, that ritual comes in a variety of ways. That zone, that space, that place of being able to listen, not the place of being able to go to talk to God, because we could talk to God all day. We could talk to God in a place of fear. We could talk to God in the place of an emergency. We can talk to God in a place of desperation. We could talk to God in a place of gratitude. We could talk to God, at the street light. We could talk to God when we cursing somebody out. Us communing with God and talking to God doesn't require anything special, but being able to listen and get the downloads and being able to hear and be able to get clarity about those next phases, that's the place where I believe ritual is really important. So some of the rituals that I employ, again, doesn't have to be you, but I found that place for me through meditation. And sometimes meditation is difficult for a lot of people. So sound meditation and guided meditation is really helpful for them. I find that place through yoga, and not just any kind of yoga, but for me, I just went completely blank, but Bikram yoga is really important. And Bikram yoga is the hot yoga. And it's important for me because in Bikram, because the room is hot and you literally have to breathe or you'll die, at least that's what I feel like, that it requires me to concentrate on so much of my breath that I don't have room in my physical and in my mental to think about anything else. And because everything else is forced to shut down, then I'm able to be one with my body and have that zone. I feel that zone when I do acupuncture. For me, especially if you guys have never done meditation before or you find it challenging, I find that doing acupuncture physically puts you in that same place immediately without a lot of intercessory intercession required. I find that zone sitting at my altar and pulling cards. I find that zone when I'm sitting there just listening and being able to be calm and truly untensing and being really thoughtful and methodical about releasing and relaxing every single part of my body. I find that place when I'm doing crystal work. I find that place when I'm working with all of the elements on my altar. So all of those things might be different for you. Those are just some of the places that I find that zone for me. So I'm going to take a quick moment because I feel myself talking a lot, and also my screen isn't changing, and I feel like that might be there's a slight glitch. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is, before I continue, 2 questions. 1, is any of this resonating with you? Is any of this like hitting you in a place that feels like that aha for you? If so, give me a 1, type 1. And 2, I would love to hear from you. What are some of the rituals and places and ways that you go to connect with God where you feel like you're in that zone? So I'm going to give you guys a second to type in. So even if you are watching the replay, I definitely invite you to comment as well too. I will definitely come back and comment. But I will say thank you, Selena, for letting me know my screen isn't broken. I'm hoping that the rest of y'all went out and y'all getting some, so y'all getting in the zone right now. I'm just kidding. But I'm glad that this is resonating with you, because what I don't want 2018 to be for anybody is this idea that we're supposed to just stop the calendar all of a sudden and make this wish list of things that we hope to attain, because we think somehow by making this wish list of things, then we will be better, that we'll lose more weight, that we'll finally say yes, that we'll finally say no, that we'll finally take up this new hobby, and then we have all of these wish list things. And while they're not inherently bad in itself, 1, we don't need a calendar to dictate when we can start that. We can do that at any time. And 2, we have to be really thoughtful about what our calling is and if those actions and those steps are really related to our calling and our purpose. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. And I have one more thing. What I would love to do is invite you guys to get on my mailing list, because I have some goodies that are coming out for you over the next couple of weeks. So part of what I shared in the beginning is what my purpose is here in this world, and it's to unapologetically be, it is to love, it is to write, and it is to incarnate the divine feminine. And I'm inviting women who that speaks to, and who feel like there is something there that I need to be a part of, that this is truly my tribe, that I want to learn more about this. And I'm inviting you all to go ahead and subscribe to my new list. So if you're on my old list, that old list is getting ready to be phased out. So I'm inviting people to come to my new list of Queen Bee Order, the divine high order of women lighting shit up. And it's really simple. You follow this link, bit.ly/QBO for Queen Bee Order. Subscribe. That's it. Selena says, for me, I try to connect through meditation, but I feel like my connection comes when I'm doing things like washing the dishes and listening to music. Selena, you really are speaking on something important right there, because oftentimes we think that, this connection is supposed to look a certain way, that, in order to connect, that we're supposed to be doing it this way. And is it really meaningful for us to be doing things like washing the dishes and listening to music, and does it count? And I'm venture to say it does count. Those parts are part of the contemplation in life. And sometimes when we get into where we're washing the dishes and we're listening to music, we're in that auto zone that's allowing God to speak to us, because the rest of our body is occupied, and our ego and our defenses and our fears are down so that God can speak to us. And so I say, keep doing those things that are allowing you to connect. And if it's something that doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it just because the gurus are saying it or the people that are in this place are saying it. I think that for me, it's an important practice, but I think it's more important for you to define your practice for yourself. Um, and here's a quick sneak peek, and I wasn't supposed to talk about it, so I'm just going to tell y'all really quick that like this year is all for me about unapologetically being and teaching other women how to unapologetically be themselves. And so I have some goodies that are coming out related to that, which is why you need to be on my list so that you can get access to that. And so, Selena, now I'm definitely not telling you that you need to take up cleaning more or, become the master of the next Destiny's Child in order for you to connect to God. But what I am saying is to invite that connection when it does come up and when it does come to you. And when it comes to you at those odd times, like washing dishes or listening to music or cooking your favorite meal for your family or dancing in the kitchen or holding the baby or cuddle up next to your boo, that all of those times are just as valid. And I want you to recognize that that's what you're doing right now is connecting to God. Because when you recognize that that's what's happening, it's like easier for you to hear and for you to revere and respect those ahas that come to you. I'm glad that that's helpful for you. Anybody else before I jump off? Hey, Sherika, thank you for joining. Selena, I'm saying, those things, God is talking to you then too. So if nobody else has anything else, I asked this question last time, and I definitely want to invite the rest of you guys as well too. So in addition to subscribing to my new list, if there's any topic or anything that you want me to go in more depth about, go ahead and feel free to drop it in the comments. I have a whole list of topics that I will like to get to. And like I shared at the beginning of my live, that I'm really working hard on not being completely scripted and coming from a place of ego and teaching you guys what I think that you need to learn, but really sharing and communicating and dialoguing about what Spirit speaks through me. And so I have topics. They sit on my altar. I listen to them, and I really just speak from my heart and speak for what comes up for me. And I hope that these are the topics that come up, but I would definitely love some inspiration from the rest of you guys about anything that you want us to be talking about during these grown women, sister, sanctuary conversations that we have. I bet y'all didn't think that y'all was going to get a whole lesson about why sex is like mystical and connected to God. Sharika, please go ahead and catch the replay. You might want to skip the first 3 minutes because all you missed was me dancing to Big Frida and checking my deep condition. Hey, Latrice, underneath my my cute little cap that I have going on. I'm living on the intersection of being bougie and hood because that's who I am, and being multitasking. I have a deep condition in and doing all of the things while I'm chatting with y'all ladies tonight. So that's all I have. You think you missed it? You missed, so y'all missed the dancing. No, I really wasn't dancing, but I really was getting my whole life with Big Frida because why not? And it's Friday, and this is what we do. I'll be doing this a couple of times a week, and so always make sure that you have liked my page and that you are on my mailing list so that you will know when these conversations come. I definitely invite you guys to drop some topics, and if you are watching the replay, and if you do go back and watch it again, please feel free to comment, share, like, amen, yes girl, all the hearts, all the Beyonce memes, all the gifs, all of that. I'm here for it, and I'm here for you ladies. So thank you guys so much for joining me for tonight. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your community. Thank you for your love, and thank you for accepting me as I share my journey and my lessons and my truth with you all. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, and I love you guys, and I will talk to you later.